And now for a Manic Mark art box that is, well, I redid it again. It's based on the song Playing in a Pile of Dirt, and I just updated the book and I made a box for it. Okay, here's the cover, and this is like a drawing. Everything I do is like for memory. I don't hardly ever look at a photograph or anything like that. So I drew like the house I grew up in, and this is the neighborhood. And I lived across the street from a cemetery, and my dad is buried in the cemetery, and the cemetery's name is Mound View. And I grew up 27 Mansfield Avenue, and then there's the alien spaceship that, well, it's still kind of foggy what happened there. Anyway, okay, so now we go to the inside cover, and this like I just you had this memory of my friend Brian, okay, growing up. And I went to Brian's house one day. I think it was a Sunday. It may even been Easter Sunday, okay? And Brian's mom, she had all the relatives over in the house, and it was cool. It was an Easter Sunday that was cool, and all the relatives were there, and I had made this, chapstick used to come in metal tubes, all right? So I like crushed up matches and jammed them into this metal chapstick tube, and on the end of the tube I put one of those smoke bombs, kind of look like a round red ball, and I put that in there, and I taped it to an army truck, a little toy army truck. And we lit it off in his basement, man. Oh, but if you've ever lit off one of those smoke bombs, they stink. They're soft, very sulfurous. And all the windows were closed, and I filled the house up with this fart smoke, and everybody got upset. And really, in retrospect, his mother was really she was upset, but she didn't lose her temper. I may have exaggerated it a bit in the drawing, okay, but she said, basically, you have to go home now. But she wasn't that angry, and I was like, "What?" And I knew that I did something bad, but it's like I should have known because I knew they smelled. But it's like when you're a kid, you just want to have fun, and you have this thing, and you can't help but to light it off. And it was raining and cold outside. We didn't want to do it outside. So anyway, Brian is his name. You are cool. Brian says cool, and I was always getting Brian in trouble. I just like to point that out. That's why I gave him a halo, because poor Brian, I was always trying to get him to do stuff he probably shouldn't have done. And it was not that I was trying to get him in trouble, I was just having fun. It's like he was an accomplice in my evil funness, was Brian, okay? And there's the bag of chips, because I would go to Brian's house not only because Brian was cool and he was my friend, but because my mom never bought junk food, and he always had like Fritos and stuff. It was great to go over to his house to have some real food. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now we go to the book. And the song I'm Playing in a Pile of Dirt, and this is all about growing up, okay? Basically really early life, playing in a pile of dirt. Now here's the cover, and this is like my earliest memories are like being outside in a big old tractor tire that my parents had put sand in, and just in my jockey shorts digging in the sand and thinking, this is great, It's like before I had to go to school and get all political and everything, and then that mean kids dealing with all the crap, okay? Like I was like happy up until I was like 5 years old, okay? And then there was kindergarten, and it was really depressing and full of woe and misery. All right, so it's just me playing. Before I had to wear a button-down shirt, because I don't know nothing about it. At that age, I had no idea. And there's a dog. That's not Bandit. That could be the real mean dog that lived next door. Oh, that's another story. That's okay. We'll go to the next page, and it's like just escaped from my baby bed, ate a worm, and I'm not dead. And I don't ever remember myself ever eating a worm, but I remember when I was an adult visiting a friend who had a kid who ate a worm right in front of me. Oh, I couldn't believe it. It didn't kill him though, and why should it? Because worms are just protein. I just can't imagine the squirminess of it going. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, and I guess I had a baby bed. I don't remember. Anyway, that's all just abstract. And then the next page is I pooped my pants just the other day, and I wonder how high is the sky. And I can remember the last time that I pooped my pants. Does it, everyone? Remember that last time when you pooped your pants? And my mother had like somebody over that she was trying to impress. And I came into the room and I was way too old to be doing that. But it was, I don't know, man. It was like the last time. I was like 14 or 15. And I said, Mom, I pooped my pants. And she got all embarrassed and everything. Oh my God. And you wonder about things. I think I was thinking about, like God and everything and questions when I was younger and big questions. Okay, then go to the next page. Tiger lilies taste good. I don't know why. And penny candy don't give me no tooth decay. Well, there was one spring when I went outside into the backyard and we had tiger lilies, and I sat in the tiger lily patch and I pulled up tiger lilies and I was eating the shoot, the not the roots, but like the shoots, like the part that just goes into the ground, and they tasted really good. I spent all morning eating those things. Fortunately, they weren't poison, and I didn't get sick from it. But I went out the next year. I remembered how good they were, and I went out the next year and ate some, and they didn't taste good. And I think it was because I missed the window. There like was a window in the spring when they just taste right. Anyway, penny candy don't give me tooth decay. Well, I didn't get tooth decay from penny candy. But I don't know why. Okay, I probably got it from something else. I have no idea. Comic books with X-ray specs, Cap sent old Red Skull straight to heck. Okay, if you're my age, comic books, you were always amazed by that page, that ad, those small ads in the back of the comic books, and the one that like powder you put on soap that makes it red like blood, and all those gag gifts, okay? And then there was always the X-ray specs, which intrigued me because the image was of this guy looking through a woman's dress, and it's like, even back then, I'm like, probably didn't think about that until I was about 12, and then suddenly I'm like, that seems like a really good idea to have glasses that can help me look through, never mind. Anyway, and Red Skull, of course, is Captain America's nemesis, and Jack Kirby has always been one of my favorite artists, okay, growing up. And, anyway, there you go. And going on to the next page. Meatloaf dinner served in a TV tray, lumpy girls, and a Playboy. Cheap rubber monster toys. And, I remember growing up, and it's like the TV dinner was just like, because Mom, again, it was all health food with my mom, right? So if we had a TV dinner, it was like this magical thing. You pulled it out of the freezer and it had these photographs on the front of it of like this smushy applesauce or apple stuff, and there was like the lump of meatloaf and some kind of like yellow brown colored corn, but it was all kind of like sparkly and silvery, and it was just a cool thing. And then there was, of course, in today's age, I don't know what kids are thinking. You just get on the internet and you just find the most horrible things. But when I was growing up as a kid, if you found a Playboy anywhere, it was like finding a brick of gold. It was just so hard to get any kind of pornography or anything suggestive. And even then, there was not, you didn't see everything, I mean, they didn't, it wasn't until like in Hustler and like the mid-70s that they started, I think, in with the full frontal, everything, okay? And of course, I had like the Aurora models, and I bought these I can't remember, like they were superheroes and rubber, anyway, and I had those were fun. And slick meat on white bread don't decay. But I never got, the thing of it is that I remember like going to school, okay, Mom would pack, my sandwich would be like on whole wheat bread, and there would be like liverwurst, not the kind of liverwurst that's dyed pink that you get in the store. No, that doesn't come like that naturally. It's gray in its natural form. Liverwurst is gray in its natural form, and that would be on the sandwich with lettuce. And of course, all the other kids in school would have Wonder Bread, bologna, and mustard sandwiches. And they would look at my sandwich and think it was from another freaking planet, okay? At the time, and I was kind of embarrassed by it. I liked it. It tasted good, but I was kind of embarrassed that I didn't have slick meat on white bread that don't decay. Go to the next page. Okay. Salted snails are no fun. Shot out the neighbor's window with the BB gun. I was not always an angel. I said that. But I did things like as experiments because I've always been curious, and some things you just should know better. Like, I don't know who told me to salt snails. Somebody must have put that idea in my head. I found a snail, I put salt on it. It was not pleasant. You should not salt the animals. Don't put salt on animals. I'm telling you right now, that was not a good idea. And I had a BB gun, and you can't help but to do things bad. I didn't actually. I got to tell you, there was this garage next. They had like some car window stuff set up, and I broke those. But the worst thing I did, oh my God, I can't believe this. They had a garage with, back in the day when everything was true divided light, the whole garage door there was like a 2-car garage and all these window panes in it. And I went over there in the alleyway and I threw rocks through all the windows. Was I being bad? No. I didn't think anybody owned the garage. It looked like it was in disrepair. So I just broke out all the windows with rocks because it was fun. But boy, did I paid for that. Let me tell you what. Okay. Pointed wax lips in the penny candy display. I built a fort with old yellow boards. Well, every after school on Fridays, when all the kids, and it was just like, all the kids got an allowance of some amount. We didn't discuss the economics of, but there was a little corner market on the way home where all the kids would stop. It was a madhouse on Friday. There would be a million screaming kids in there with their nickels, driving. I don't know how the guy there, I guess it's because, it was a payday for him. I'd have no idea. But like a kid can spend forever trying to pick stuff out with a penny, like penny candy. Like, here I have a nickel, a dime, or a quarter, whatever it is. And the wax lips was always one of my favorites. That's the point of that. Anyway, and then the yellow board story is Brian. I got him again. We went around the neighborhood until we found some wood, which probably was being saved for something, and we stole the wood. Why? Because nobody was using it, right? It was just laying there. Oh, my God. And we built a fort with no level and no help from adults. We made a box, and we dug a hole in it. And I made a basement. I had this notion that I was going to see how far I could dig. Well, about 3 feet down and about 4 feet square. And we took Bandit, my dog, out there one night, and we're walking around, and Bandit was making all this noise and was going crazy. And like, what's going on? And what's inside the fort? We opened the door and we went in, and he was barking at the basement. What could be in the basement? And I had a piece of plywood over it, and I threw it open, and there was a possum in the basement. The possum screeches and jumps out, and it's running around on the inside, and the dog's running around chasing it and barking and screeching, and we're banging into the walls and scared, screaming, and that was a lot of fun. I really remember that thing there. Okay, and then hit my brother in the head on the last page. Hit my brother in the head with a plastic sword. Smoked a cigarette from my mom's ashtray. My mom smoked, and one day I'm in the room, okay, and there's the ashtray, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to light this, and I lit the cigarette butt, and I actually didn't smoke it, but my mom came down, and she smelled it, and she saw the thing, and she figured out, and she got really angry with me, and I'm just thinking, why are you angry with me? Because, you're smoking these cigarettes, and you're angry at me, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, and then hit my brother in the head with he's lucky that was the only thing I hit him in the head with. Well, there was a walnut once, and I think that was pretty much about it. The walnut hurt. I didn't actually hit him in the head with a plastic sword. I made this board with nails in it, and it was unfortunate that he didn't get it. Oh well, little brothers, what are you gonna do with them? And that's the end of my story. Thanks for hanging in there, and the song's still online somewhere. If you just a pile of dirt, it'll have the old drawings with it and everything. I think I'll just leave it up. Anyway, that's it. Thanks.